Hey comic book fans, and welcome back to another vlog that I'm going to be doing where today I'm going to be talking about something that kind of irked me. As we all know, that Kyle Higgins' run on Nightwing comes to an end with issue number 28, I believe. And with that, I just thought to myself that this run with Kyle Higgins is a run that was just so dampened by something that I hate to call where other books come and just ruin your shit. Now Kyle Higgins, he comes in there and he says, I'm going to write Nightwing for the New 52, and I'm going to kind of work my first story arc with Scott Snyder in his Court of the Owls storyline. And with that, it was a beautiful and masterful work between these two writers to just make that their story just goes completely together. After that, you see that Kyle Higgins, he's like, okay, Scott Snyder, you and we did a great thing with the Court of Owls. I want to go do my own thing. So he goes on, he's starting to work with Dick Grayson, becoming owner of the circus that his parents once worked for. And you just see that Kyle Higgins is like, okay, I got a story to tell, I'm going to go tell it. And then DC came to him and was like, no, you have to go and tell a Joker story for the death of the family. And so he does it. It takes like 4 or 5 issues to get done with. And that whole entire story arc just dampened everything in the DC comics and just made everything just feel like shit. And then Kyle Hayes is like, okay, I am getting really fed up with this. Because you could go and look at interviews and just see kind of a frustration where it just sounds like he's just so frustrated that DC Comics is just halting his story he wants to tell to do a crossover every other month. And so he tells us, he's like, okay, DC, I'm going to take Nightwing and take him to Chicago. Take him out of Gotham. So I can do my own story arc that, in theory, what he tells us in the interviews he does with Comic Vine to the things that he said in just some panels at some Comic Cons. It sounded like he had a great idea. And everything was going fine, and then the new current event comes in, and Forever Evil, and just destroys everything that this man tried to create. They take Nightwing, and they just say, we're throwing him back into Gotham. Now, one thing I am glad to see is that DC Comics did not say, okay, we're going to have your story be tied in to whatever's going on Forever Evil. And I just see a man that was just wanted to tell a story with a character that you could definitely tell from the way he talks about him, just a character he loves. And he was never able to tell the stories he wanted to tell. Because the bad thing about being part of the Bat Family book line, just like being part of the X-Men book line, is no matter who you are or what book you're writing, you're always going to have a book that's going to be tied in with other books. And this has to stop. There's too many writers out there that have great stories to tell. They're never able to tell it because of things that happened, like to this great writer, Kyle Higgins. Now, I am glad that Kyle Higgins is still going to be working with DC Comics, and he's going to be working on the Batman Beyond. That's a digital comic that sounds like it's something that he wants to tell that we know that's not going to be messed up with everything else, because that is its own world. I can't get the feeling that this is a lost opportunity for this man to get some headway and get his name out there, because he had some great ideas for the character Nightwing and it was never able to come into fruition. I hope that the next guy who comes into either any Batman family book or any X-Men family book are able to tell their stories, because too many times in the big two, people are not able to tell their story. And I know us as comic fans would love to see these guys tell the stories that they want to tell, and maybe, just maybe, our voice can be heard, and we can tell DC and Marvel, stop with these crossovers. Let these writers tell their stories, and let us get back to enjoying what we enjoy most about our heroes, and that is their own individual stories. So that's what I just want to get off my chest. Thank you guys for listening, and remember, I'm only 2 subscribers away from 200, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so, and please help me get to that 200 subscriber. And once I get to the 200 subscriber, I'm going to be gifting, as on Comicology, some books that I've been reading, and just share the wealth. So I'll see you guys on the next Comic Fix.